without further ado, we'll be talking a little bit about the Irish language. And it's a very interesting language. This is just words that have come from, that have a relationship to English words. So we'll try to keep it, this will be very simple. Well, except for the opening slide here, which says, Focal Berla Welta Aeronaught, which means English words, Irish cousins. And the characters you see up here, you might recognize the real small person in that one, and she's surrounded by two of her burly Irish cousins from Quilty and County Clare. Quilty is a great little seaside town in Clare, and wouldn't you have, it's just a great place to visit, but when your cousin owns the only pub in town, it's even better. And your piece of paper has a quiz on the back side, so pay attention. Don't fall asleep. No matter how boring I sound, you shouldn't fall asleep. Okay, can anybody guess what this word might be? Or what it might mean?
Lake.
I look cheated.
Lake.
Girl?
It's girl. That's how it's pronounced Colleen, just like Colleen Kane, or Colleen Martin back here. Colleen Kane Martin back here.
Yep.
And we'll talk a little bit about what some of these other things means. Like, I know somebody remarked on the accent mark here a little bit ago, and what the difference between the words, with that, how that affects the words. Anybody guess what this one might be? What's that?
Can you spell it?
We can't see it.
You can't see it?
It's very small. It's not visible.
B-U-A-C-H or H-A-I-L-L. It's boy, it's buckle. And from that, you get the word bucko, because it's pronounced buckle. But when the Irish came over and assimilated with, our native speaking Americans, not Native Americans, but English speaking Americans, they would use their own words, and then some of them would be transformed into something that made a little bit more sense. It was more pronounceable to them. So, get over here, bucko, they would say to somebody, to a kid or something like that, or be bucko or something like that would be how that term had developed to from buckle to bucko. Can you see the word on this one? Clan. What would that be? Family, of course. This is, there's your clue. It's the woman's spirit, or a banshee. The banshee, the legend of the banshee is that when you hear the banshee cry, that predicts a death someplace, maybe not necessarily in your family, but within the neighboring town, within the neighborhood, something like that. Or the banshee wail. It's a indicator of, supposedly an indicator of somebody about to die. Such a lovely thought.
Let's get cheery.
Yeah, very cheery. Brogue.
Accent.
Language?
Whiskey.
Shoe.
Did I hear shoe? Very good.
Oh my gosh.
There's me brogues.
Oh.
And the one, yep,
So where does the phrase come in? He speaks with a brogue.
it's actually, I just put it up there, you might not be able to see it, but it's baroque
Oh, barogue.
is the accent, baroque.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Not brogue.
If it's not broke, it's baroque is more correct, but you can see how that would get,
Yeah.
twisted in, into broke.
Shamrock?
Hmm?
Shamrock?
Yeah.
Yep.
Shamrock? Shamrock. Pretty simple, that one.
Yep.
And the shamrock is not a four-leaf clover. Please. Please. The legend of the shamrock, of course, as many of you probably realize, is that it was used by Saint Patrick to explain the concept of the Holy Trinity to the native Irish. You don't know how some people cringe when they see the four-leaf clover trying to be passed for the shamrock. Galere. It's galere.
Valley?
Goodbye.
Go there. Go away.
Here's the hint.
Plenty.
Plenty. Or galore is how galore is how was where galere had originated from is the connection. And it's actually galere has actually a couple of other uses, and you'll see other examples of this. If somebody asks you "Kuna statu," which is "How are you?" you could say "Tamegoma," I am fine, or you could say "Kert galere," which means I'm okay or well enough. Smidrini. Who said that? Very good.
Like a martini?
Smithereens. And I like this because, I'm of that age where I watched, for every Saturday morning, we watch 3 or 4 hours of cartoons and Yosemite Sam, I'm going to blast you to smithereens. But it means little pieces of broken stuff. Smithereens. You could probably guess both of these without even the clues.
Right. Lock is
His lake. Loch Lomond.
Glean is.
So probably Valley.
But one picture shows them both, so.
Yep.
Valley?
Glen is valley, and Loch, of course,
Lake.
would be lake. I'm not sure what lake this is, but I do remember it being, I believe we took this photo up near Sligo, and I think it was actually County Leitrim. Very beautiful part of the country. Anybody guess these?
Whiskey, she said.
Which one is whiskey?
The poison.
The poachine is like whiskey, but it's not whiskey.
Moonshine.
It's the moonshine, right?
Darn close.
And there's a poaching still, so you know where some of our Appalachian ancestors may have got their still designs from, because there was a great migration of Irish and Irish Scots down through Canada and into Appalachia, and they brought their language and their wonderful skills with them, such as making moonshine.
So what's the other?
Used to be
The other is actually whiskey,
Jameson.
Ushkabaha, which means the water of life. Ushka is the word for water. And then, you know, with the Irish sense of humor, oh, that's the water of life, of course.
Jameson.
I agree.
Changa. Here's the clue.
Your tongue.
This is one that has two meanings.
Yep.
Language?
Exactly. Language and what else?
Tongue.
Tongue. I don't think tongue is part of the clue here, but now this is a very recent photograph. I mean, it was taken a screenshot from a YouTube video very recently. So where was this photo? Can anybody guess where this photograph may have been taken? Exactly. And what are these folks doing? What are they being? Ah, they're being hooligans, doing hooliganisms. And that has a very interesting origin. It wasn't really named for. It was named after a family. After Patrick O'Houlihan. He was a 19th century Irish bouncer and thief that lived in London. So, and I guess he had a very rowdy family in London. And so that word developed from Mr. Patrick Houlihan and Company.
Very short man.
Now this was not a very well-liked person.
Looks like you.
Oh,
There you go. Feel the love.
I'm done. I don't have to take this insult. I got 4 kids. I can get insulted at home all I want.
Where do you go from there?
Yeah,
the boycott.
because he tried.
Is that here?
Boycott.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's where the
Colonel
word came from.
Oh, really?
boycott of the British Army
They
was
boycotted.
That's close enough. Captain Charles Boycott.
Yep.
He was an English land agent.
Yep.
And what their job entailed was
Collecting.
basically collecting the rent and throwing the people out that didn't pay the rent. So Charles Boycott was probably well, there were a lot of despised English people that ended up in Ireland. Probably the most infamous one was a fellow named Oliver Cromwell. He was
Yeah.
people hate him to this day. They can't stand that name. But Charles Boycott ranks right up there with some of the evil ones too. So, and that's how the practice of boycotting was named. It would they would resist his collections and stuff, and they would call that a boycott. So when you see protests today about the price of foods, we're going to boycott, we're going to boycott the price of eggs, or we're going to boycott this or that or the other thing. That's where that term originated from this not so flattering picture of this guy. He's skinnier than me. Mother McCree. Has anybody ever seen this film? I don't think I've ever seen it. It was a John Ford movie. And the Irish word that McCree came from, it was actually 3 words, is Mahar Mocroy, which means mother of my heart. And actually, the picture there is kind of like, it's very sad and sappy all at the same time, but, it's very emotional, but it's mother of my heart. So it not only does it creep into our language, it creeps into our movies and films. Here we are. We came to what this gentleman pointed out. Which one is the name John? Without the T. And you can see the difference. There's Sean.
But Sean T is an old house.
And Sean T is the old house.
Yes, a shanty.
Shanty.
Yes.
Oh, Sean.
Or shanty.
Okay.
And actually, this is a picture. The shanty is actually a picture from the Erie Canal days. I don't believe it from the original digging of the canal, but for later the enlargement when there were a lot of Irish coming over due to the famine, and that kind of pictures what they lived in. And there'd be 13, 14 people living in these things sometimes.
Wow.
And you can see it's kind of like on a sled. So as the canal was being dug and they moved from one location to the next, you could drag it was like an RV almost. You could drag your house behind you with a team of oxen or horses and move on to the next location. What's the fada? WTF. I gave it a new meaning instead of the one that we all know. The fada is that little accent mark over certain letters. You'll see it over most of the vowels, I believe. So this is where Shan versus Sean comes in. So what that fada does for the letter A, it broadens it or makes it longer. It's not the same long A that we're familiar with as in A instead of versus ah, but it's an aw sound, so it's more of a aw. And a lot of that in the language is based on the position and the opening of the mouth that makes it broad or narrow. So it'd be Sean. So you're opening your mouth more when you're speaking that fada A. Same way, yeah.
What's the pronunciation of the one without the fada?
Shan.
Shan.
Shan. It's Shan versus Sean.
Oh.
Okay.
And what's a shan?
Shan is old.
Ah,
Yep, I see that here. That was the only one left.
So there's Sean Shan or Old Sean.
Goodbye.
No, that's not the end of it. You don't get out that easy. I'm sorry. Everybody knows this one, I guess.
Oh, here it is, yep.
Goodbye. And
One left.
again, as the Irish assimilated into the American society and they brought their language with them, and people trying to figure out, the non-Irish speakers trying to figure out what they're saying. They developed. They went from slán to slán, and that's how that so long came to come into practice. Slán, slán.
That's what
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's an easy one to remember.
Yeah.
Bye.
And again, it has the fada over the a, so you have slán instead of slan.
If that's goodbye, what's hello?
There really is no direct. I should have known somebody was going to come up with this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There is no. That's okay. There's no direct word for hello that translates right to hello. When you say hello to somebody in Ireland, you might say "Diagwich," which means God with you. That's the greeting. So that's how they would say hello to each other, or they might say "Konastatu," which means how are you, or they might just say hello.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, no. In the study of the language, the Diagwich is the one they teach in the schools, in the Irish-speaking schools, and that means God be with you. And then what you say back to that person is Dias Murgwich, which means God and Mary be with you. So, they try to one-up each other. But yeah, so that's a good one to know. And it also is related to the word sláinte, which means health, which could also be used as a form of a greeting or a way of saying goodbye. Sláinte, here's good health. I should have put that one in there, but I didn't. Okay, we got some proverbs or shanticles. Any good proverb in Ireland, one of the cardinal rules, and probably here in the English language, is that they have to be fairly short, so you can remember them, and rhyming also helps as well. Of course, you'll see a little bit of a hang up here with some of the words in Irish, so we'll figure out how short they really are. But the word shanicle is and the F is not pronounced. That's just one of the vagaries of the Irish language. Literally means old words. Shanicle. Isfar Gwaelga Brishta na Beryl Clishta, which means broken Irish is better than clever English. And they used this expression when the Irish language was starting to make a comeback due to the Gaelic League, because the language was suppressed for many, many years. With the English came over and started being the boss of things. But the Gaelic League revived the Irish language, or attempted to revive it, and this was one of the proverbs that came out of that revival era. Now, this one is a hard one. Kneeling Tinton Mardol Hinton Fame. And that means there's no fireplace like your own fireplace. And basically, it means the same thing as no place like home. There's no place like home. The word tinna, which is doesn't do me any good to point at this thing. You see tinton. Tinna is the Irish word for fire. So tinton is a fireplace. Begon ara agus ara goma. Say a little and say it well. Honestly, I don't know too many Irishmen that go by this proverb.
You can't tell us the story.
No. Same go with their emails sometimes. If you ever start getting into the Irish language, you'll see that word agus in there a lot, and that simply means and. That's the Irish word for and. Go is kind of a strange word. It doesn't really have a direct meaning to the English language, but it's always used in conjunction with another modifier. So it's goma means well, it's well, but it could mean other things with the go part, goma.
Aaron, go bra.
Yep.
So it doesn't
That
mean
means,
anything, go.
huh?
So go doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's no direct translation.
There's no direct translation. It's actually usage
Okay.
in conjunction with another. Forever would be a noun, I guess, so it would be used with another noun.
Right.
These both mean basically the same thing. Neil pa gan kra, Neil bua gan dua. I like these because they're very short and simple and they rhyme. No pain, no gain. No pain without torment. The other one means the same thing. No pain, no gain. No victory without toil. Here's that word chenga again. Tirgan chenga, tirgananam. The word tir is country. So what this means is a country without a language is a country without a soul. And again, that is the one that obviously would have been part of the Gaelic revival to get more people to speak the Irish language. And that's it.
What's either I missed it, barong? B-A-R-R-O-G?
That was the accent.
Oh, brogue.
Oh, that's wrong.
That's accent.
Yeah.
That's accent.
Okay, I missed that. Yep.
Don't worry, you don't have to turn this in for a grade. But on the downside, there's no prize either. There are many resources, and I should have put them on the piece of paper, but I didn't. I don't know how many folks are interested in the Irish language. You can do things. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. Some of it is good. Some of it is a little bit questionable. Duolingo is a fairly decent resource for it's Duolingo is a program. I mean, I had to go to, poor me, I had to go to Austria to ski a few years ago.
I'm sorry.
Oh, gee.
And I brushed up on my German, 'cause I took German in college and high school. I used Duolingo to brush up on that. It's very good, but it's not, it doesn't have a lot of grammar associated with it, but it's good for vocabulary. It's decent for vocabulary. Another one that's very interesting to listen to is Bite Size Irish podcast. They actually have some excellent teachers on there. You can actually take their classes online if you want. That's Bite Size Irish, and just put your Google Drive or your search engine Bite Size Irish, and you'll come up with a whole bunch of great things. And I got a lot of the material that I use in this program from that website and that place. Let's see. You can get an online dictionary. There are some good ones. Chenga is a good one, which means language, as we now know, or tongue. Folklore.ie is another one. Folklore is the Irish word for word. Actually, there's the other pronunciation of word is fuckle. So somebody got clever with a WTF and said, "Well, I got a website now. What the fuckle?" But what's the word? So it means what's the word? There's a lot of resources out there. I won't go through them all because I can't really whip them all off the top of my head like that. But Bite Size Irish is an excellent resource, and it's Duolingo is okay, but it does lack on the. You don't get much help in the way of grammar and the pronunciation. There's, as you can imagine, there's some differences in dialects from Munster, which is in the south, to Ulster, which is in the north. So the Ulster dialect is used a lot in the north, and then down south in Munster. But if you come across a site that says, we do it in the Connacht dialect, that's a pretty universal dialect. You'd find people that all over the country that speak that. Or if you were speaking that to them, they would understand what you're talking about. And even the Ulster dialect, like one glaring example, like when I said, "Kona Satatu, how are you?" That's a Munster expression. And you would respond, "Tamego ma." And if you were from Ulster, you would respond, "Tomego mai." Tamego mai. It's the same word spelling. It's just a different pronunciation of the word. And actually, what scares a lot of people, a lot of beginners from the language, I think this. Any questions? We are hoping to one day start a language program here, if anybody is interested in that. I would not be the one to teach it. I don't consider myself a fluent speaker quite yet. And it's like any other language, you have to practice it in order to keep at it. You know that from taking any language lessons. So, any other questions?